We won't stop giving you just good life. We will literally not stop till you live enlightened life. Manifesting the state of Paramashiva, space of Paramashiva, powers of Paramashiva, being of Paramashiva. Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham.
Method. So that is the. So recently, a study also found.
Look at the contemporary education versus Gurukul education. The current system of education is established by Macaulay and Max Muller in India and is the.
So recently, a study also found that 18% of the.
Make sure you become wealthy. We won't stop giving you just good life. We will literally not stop till you live enlightened life. Manifesting the state of Paramashiva, space of Paramashiva, powers of Paramashiva, being of Paramashiva.
Look at the contemporary education. Look at the contemporary education.
Make sure you become wealthy. We won't stop giving you just good life. We will literally not stop till you live enlightened life. Manifesting the state of Paramashiva, space of Paramashiva, powers of Paramashiva, being of Paramashiva. Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda.
Look at the contemporary.
Is a student every 26 seconds. Is a student every 20. Reason why their academic.
The principle of dharmo rakshati rakshitaha. When you protect dharma, dharma protects you. We will make the whole planet flourish spiritually. The spiritual prosperity will happen to the whole planet. We all have to coexist together.
We get you health. We get you ability to build beautiful relationships in your life. We get you direct spiritual support, and we make sure you become wealthy. We won't stop giving you just good life. We will literally not stop till you live enlightened life. Manifesting the state of Paramashiva, space of Paramashiva, powers of Paramashiva, being of Paramashiva.
Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om
Nithyananda, welcome back. So we'll be moving on to the next segment of this program. Kailasa's de facto spiritual embassies as the COVID care protection centers. So what is the status of the world today? If you see, the Human Rights Watch reported that more than 1.5 billion students are out of school every day. So more than 91% of the world's students are out of school due to the school closures in at least 188 countries. And if you see, 36.5% of the US college students pointed to stress as the biggest reason why their academic performance suffered negatively for the past 12 months. So in addition, 29.5% listed anxiety as a factor. For American middle schoolers, 61% of the teens admitted feeling a lot of pressure to get good grades. So approximately 1.27 billion learners are currently affected due to the school closures in response to the pandemic, according to the UNICEF monitoring, and 46 countries are currently implementing nationwide closures, and 27 are implementing local closures, impacting about 72.9% of the world's student population. So in a survey by the mental health charity Young Minds, which included 2011 participants up to the age of 25 years with mental illness history in the UK, 83% said the pandemic had made their conditions worse. So 26% said they were unable to access mental health support. Peer support groups and face-to-face services have been cancelled, and support by phone or online can be challenging for some young people. So the COVID-19 pandemic has disrupted or halted the critical mental health services in 93% of the countries worldwide, while the demand for mental health is increasing, according to a new WHO survey. So recently, a study also found that 18% of the individuals, including people with and without a past psychiatric diagnosis, who received a COVID-19 diagnosis were later diagnosed with a mental health disorder such as anxiety or mood disorders. So survey also found that the substance use and suicidal ideation are particularly pronounced for young adults, with 25% reporting they started or increased the substance use during the pandemic, and 26% reporting the serious thoughts of suicide. So every year, over 1.2 million students drop out of high school in the United States, and that is a student every 26 seconds, or 7,000 a day. So about 25% of high school freshmen fail to graduate from high school on time. So this is the plight of the world today. But if you see the contributions from Kailasa's Department of Education, we would now go over what is the contribution of Kailasa's education system. The whole Gurukul, the real Hindu Gurukul, Hindu university atmosphere I had in Tiruvannamalai in 1970s is what I am trying to reproduce all over the world through the Nithyananda Gurukul and online e-Gurukul. This is what is exactly revealed by His Divine Holiness. So he has said, Gurukul is a place where celebration begins with right words in blossoming minds, creating a gateway of possibilities, creating an enlightened civilization with yogic body and Vedic mind. So Nithyananda Gurukul is the best ever school established by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, and here students live their highest potential and manifest various spiritual powers. So the Gurukul functions as the Supreme Pontiff's vision that education is for life, but life itself is not for education. The Gurukul brings to the world the right kind of education that empowers you.
And if we look at the contemporary education versus Gurukul education, the current system of education is established by Macaulay and Max Muller in India and is the non-involving narrative style of teaching. The original Indian education system was not about continuously giving words, ideas, concepts, theories, or theologies. It was about awakening you to the right context, enlightenment. The Indian education system, the Gurukul, is more of a transmission of knowledge rather than mere transfer of knowledge.
So whether others educate you or you educate yourself, if you plan everything based on the best of you, it is called as specialization. So the Gurukul ambience is for specialization and not for generalization. So it is for specialization, and dilution, which happens due to generalization, can be avoided just by the Gurukul system of education.
Education means putting set of ideas into your head and forcing them into you, but ensuring that you memorize and forcibly make you vomit it. In Gurukul, there is no education. There is only initiation. Initiation means empowering you with powers and letting you play with it, letting you manifest, specialize, letting you manifest your specialization, letting you grow and glow.
So in Vedic tradition, the examinations are not done by question and answer method. So that is the Macaulay's method, clerk making. So in Vedic tradition, all the examinations are conducted by the thought current you carry. The person will be made to speak in the presence of Pandits who have mastered that thought current. They will see whether he can spontaneously express that thought current. If the student is able to express the thought current cohesively, then he has mastered it.
So what is real education? If we are teaching the science of completion to our kids, we should be able to guarantee you can't even get one lie out of Gurukul kids. That is what is education. Education is making you master a thought current, which becomes their lifestyle, which becomes the cognition style, which becomes their very being. For hours, you cannot speak on a subject unless it has become your thought current. The way you cognize, change of thought current, transformation of thought current is the success of the education. Each Upanishad adds a thought current to you. Transformation of thought currents is success. And these are the direct words of the Supreme Pontiff himself.
So our Gurukuls are education centric. So students can invent something which his Guru does not know. So he has a freedom. So only the basic formulas are taught. So basic tools to awaken knowledge is taught. So then the student is left free to explore on his own. Gurukuls are not with the set of rules or frame. They are only supported people to explore the highest possible creativity.
Gurukuls are not like dams for your inspiration and energy. It is embankment for the wild river. Embankment for the wild river. Embankment is different. Dam is different. With the dam, you are dammed. It is embankment, not dam. That is why many of the Advaita Guru's disciples were Vishishta Advaitas or Advaitis, or many other Vishishta Advaitis, Advaiti Guru's disciples were Advaitis. means what? Only the basic analysis scales were given to you, but you are left to feel, really analyze. You are given spoon, not spoon-fed. You are not spoon-fed. You are only given the spoon.
So the freedom itself, if you see, Ramanuja was even able to think in the language of Vishishtadvaita. That shows the freedom which was available in the Gurukul. So, and the same way, there are many Advaitis studied at the feet of Dvaitis or Vishishtadvaitis. But Sanatana Hindu Dharma gives only the tools to explore, but it is not putting you any frames, any restrictions or dams. If you read the Shanti Mantra, it is education centric, not teacher centric. Unfortunately, in the modern day, because teachers have not taken the responsibility to be education centric, it has become more teacher centric.
This whole verse, if you read, may we both together be protected. See, the teacher is also praying along with the student. And this is what the translation of the Shanti Mantra is. And actually, it is because we are in education centric, we're able to explore and reach the new heights of seeking. New heights of seeking. That is where the Ishtadevata concept has come. And Guru encourages the disciple to travel, discover, reinvent, and invent their own path, their own methodologies. He continues to encourage the disciple to explore on their own.
So, with the principles of completion, the four tattvas of integrity, authenticity, responsibility, and enriching, as well as the truths of ahimsa or non-violence and abhayam sarva bhutepyo, the Balasans of Nithyananda Gurukul have played with the powerful cognitions and thought currents and have physically demonstrated the power of these truths by providing security to the rose plants in the garden of the Gurukul, resulting in the rose plants dropping their thorns. So we will now be watching a small video clip of how the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has described about the Indian Gurukul, which is the future of education.
Now it is time, as per the astrology, he can rule any human society which is imposed on that society more than 60 years. Now 60 years is over for the non-involvement narrative education system. I am telling you, future is Gurukul system. The future of education is where the teachers and students live together in one place. If needed, let the parents also stay there. But because basically kids do what you do, they won't do what you say. Understand? They do what you do. They won't do what you say. Whatever you do, simply they will do. They will never do what you say. Most of the time, they don't care for what you say. The future of the Indian education system, I can say, the future of any intelligent education system will be Gurukul system. I am not talking out of pride or arrogance. I am talking seeing the future. I am telling you, I will be leading this revival in the education system through our Gurukul system. Through our Gurukul system. It is going to be the Gurukuls. In Indian education system, complete involvement is required from the side of the teacher and the student. Student need to study the teacher. Teacher need to study the student. Understand? After thoroughly studying the student, teacher identifies the right subject in which the student will be successful. Few things are basic for everyone, like science of completion and enlightenment. Other than the science of enlightenment, all other things, master selects the subject in which the student will be successful. And then student is trained specifically in those fields with the knowledge of enlightenment, with the science of enlightenment, with the truth of enlightenment as the context. Even if you learn the archery, enlightenment is the context. If you study administration, enlightenment is the context. If you learn about business, enlightenment is the context. If you learn plumbing, building houses, sculpting, enlightenment is the context. Indian education system is more of a transmission of the knowledge, not transfer of knowledge. It is not just information based.
So you can see in today's education is known to be the key factor to enabling the upwards socio-economic mobility and the strongest means of removing the poverty. The right education is crucial to the well-being, stability and growth of not only every child but humanity as a whole. The Gurukul system is known to be the knowledge transmission system of Hinduism, one of the pillars which kept Sanatana Hindu Dharma alive, standing as the world's most ancient living civilization. So through Kailasa's Department of Education, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Jagadguru Mahasannidhanam, His Divine Holiness Bhagavan Nithyananda Paramashivam, the Gurukul system is being revived in its entirety.
The Gurukul is the living home of the Guru. The Gurukul system is rooted on the Guru-Shishya Sampradaya, or the Guru-disciple relationship.
So after decades of study on the physical, chemical and biological uniqueness of the meditative states and enlightened beings, it has been found that in the normal waking state alone, their brain waves show that they are in a complete meditative state despite being fully active and engaged. So in the world of athletics, this state is known as being in the zone, a glimpse into the peak of focus, cognitive function, attention, and coordination, to name a few. So rather than a glimpse, enlightened beings casually walk, they talk, and engage with life settled in this peak.
Recent studies have also found that we imbibe the body language, behaviors, and patterns of those in our environment, but not just on the behavioral level, but to the depths of the neurological level. It is also known as the mirror neuron effect. In this way, there is no better teacher than the enlightened Guru, who, as per modern science, exists as a superconscious, biological, reproducible anomaly.
However, through centuries of Mughal invasions, colonialism, and continued persecution against Hinduism and Hindu tradition, the science of knowledge transmission has been diminishing at an unprecedented state and rate. So after careful study in the colonialism era, it was found that the Gurukul system was standing as the backbone and stability of the Hindu civilization. The Macaulay education system was imposed on India after this revelation.
Over 1,000 universities were across Bharat, and to over 200,000 Gurukuls were destroyed in Bengal and Bihar alone.
So, with the systematic destruction of Hindu universities and Gurukuls, it goes also more than 80% of Hindus' indigenous knowledge system.
And many of us have heard that the Macaulay and his education system, and here's a quote directly from him: "Our English schools are flourishing wonderfully. The effect of this education on Hindus is prodigious. No Hindu who has received an English education ever continues to be sincerely attached to his religion." So you can clearly see the intent of this education system imposed by the British was to detract them from their Hindu beliefs, their Hindu religion, their Hindu education. And he goes on to say, "The Hindu religion is so extravagantly absurd that it is impossible to teach a boy astronomy, geography, natural history without completely destroying that which holds that religion on his mind. It is firm belief that if our plans of education are followed up, there will be not a single idolater among the respectable classes in Bengal in the 30 years hence, and this will be effected without any efforts to proselytize, without the smallest interference with religious liberty, merely by the natural operation of knowledge and reflection." So clearly the intention was to convert people and to destroy the native religion, the Hindu religion, and to destroy the Hindu thought currents by forcing this British education system upon the Hindus.
Yes, if you see the Kailasa's Nithyananda Gurukul, the grand revival of Hinduism's Gurukul and Nithyananda universities by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism.
And here is the official photo from the inauguration of the Nithyananda Gurukul in October of 2006 in the Bidadi, India.
And the students of the Nithyananda Gurukul who are literally practicing yoga, meditation under the sacred banyan tree, the Kalpa Vriksha.
And here are more photos of the Gurukul, where 50% of the Gurukul Balasans study 1 to 3 years ahead of their age, scoring in the top 10 to 20% of Mensa at just the age of 14.
So Gurukul Balasans, they are learning the standard academics along with the indigenous Hindu scriptures.
And along with their education, they practice many arts such as Shivasambha yoga and other yoga trained directly under the Shivasambha acharyas and teachers.
And the Gurukul Balasans demonstrating the ability to perform the Kundalini Rajju even through the blindfolded.
And the special aspect about Gurukul is that the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Jagat Guru Mahasannidhanam, His Divine Holiness Bhagavan Nithyananda Paramashivam, personally teaches the once lost science of Dhanasya. And you can see some photos of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism teaching the students of Gurukul the science of archery.
30% of the Gurukul Balasans demonstrating capacity to spontaneously play instruments without having a formal training.
And the Gurukul Balasans live the Agamic Shastra-based lifestyle, as you can see here, where they are all sitting and performing puja together.
And the Balasans of the Nithyananda Gurukul demonstrates the ability to read blindfolded.
And they participate in the Bhakti-Sadas, the discussing the truths that Swamiji has shared.
And Balasans of the Nithyananda Gurukul addressing the Kailashan delegates.
And the Balasans of Nithyananda Gurukul, this is a photo after having hosted a successful worldwide webinar where they themselves conducted, planned, and executed the whole thing. And here you can see all of the students in front of Swamiji's Murti.
And impact of Gurukul, if you see, the students, they actually have a whole brain learning with a stress-free living and zero teen violence or aggression that is seen in the outer world, and the quantum memory activation, which is recalling the verbatim after a single hearing, which is called Ekasanta Grahi in the Vedic age. So grade-wise number of hours of studies daily, including school, private tuition, and coaching. If you see, this is the comparison between what the students do in the regular school and in the Gurukul.
And the Kailasa Nithyananda Hindu University is the world's largest Hindu university established around the globe, with 450 plus campuses in 150 plus countries, and is available to the public since 2003 onwards. So this is another wonderful offering from the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism to humanity of how to be educated in the Hindu education system.
And Kailasa Nithyananda Hindu University is reviving and presenting the world's most ancient lost knowledge in a user-friendly way, and ancient truths taught in a way directly applicable for the modern man's personal, practical, and professional life.
And the NHU, the Kailasa Nithyananda Hindu University, has over 20 million enrollments and counting, with 7,000 plus courses available and delegates and teachers from 50 plus countries directly contributing to the university.
Let us now watch what the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is revealing about the value of Nithyananda Rajavidya Rajagurukul.
Long rituals are not useless or unnecessary as a modern brainwashed Hindu thinks. Long rituals are the most powerful method, science, kriya, to awaken all the life energies. See, totally we have 21 life energies. I will describe all the 21 like a fundamental principal forces of life, like gravity, how all these are fundamental forces, principal forces externally. Internally, there are 21 life energies. Ability to visualize, ability to make decision. All these 21 is given to you, but you use them accidentally. That is why your life is full of accidents. Your marriage is accident, wealth is accident, life is accident, money is accident. Very less is planned, much is accident. And I tell you, I have seen people become thieves by not knowing the power of their life energy. I tell you, thief is the cheapest way to exist. I tell you. Because you do not know you own trillions. That is why you steal millions. If you know you own trillions, why will you steal? Listen, asteya, non-stealing, comes to a person who mastered his life energy. Each of my Gurukul kid is $1 trillion economy. I tell you. Each of my Gurukul kid, the powers they can manifest. Understand, Gurukul is not a joke. It is a powerful science. Especially, see, normally, one child plus one child is a two child. But in the Gurukul ecosystem, one child plus one child is 11. 1, 1. Not 1 plus 1. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. If there are 3 child, it is not 1 plus 1 plus 1, 3. No. It is 1, 1, 1. 111. The energy multiplication. Because the ecosystem, understand, that is why Gurukul has to be with the ecosystem. I have always seen, whenever I download a power on one child, when the group sits, I can share that power on the whole group. Because when team of kids or balasans or sannyasis or brahmacharis, when they sit as one team, it is very easy for me to just like a lightning pour the energy on them. Understand? The Sankhya of life energy is different. The multi-dimensional logic of life energy is different. People cannot understand this Sankhya. The multiple life energies, awakening them to its peak and manifesting them is all about life.
So despite the relentless attacks against the life, the character and image of Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, he goes on sincerely contributing everything he has for the world. From the field of nutrition to the field of education, from protection to religious freedom to revival of indigenous traditions, the Supreme Pontiff has sincerely contributed in every facet. And this has not gone unnoticed by the world's dignitaries and leaders and multi-faith diaspora.
And as per Devi's revelations on the 12th of May 2021, I came as Nijavatara. I am blessing you. Listen, people, listen. To do good to all of you, I have taken the form of Nithyananda and came down as Nijavatara. People of India, listen carefully, listen. Time after time, Bharatam is Jnana Bhumi, where enlightened beings come. We cannot make Jnana Bhumi as infertile. Enlightenment beings have to come.
So they have to live, it has to flower, and few hypocrites, because they are stuck in delusion, we cannot sacrifice the world. Cosmos cannot be destroyed. The ship I did to save the cosmos from being destroyed, that is the Adi Kailasa. The ship I did to protect beings from Pralaya is the Adi Kailasa. Because of conspiracy of drogis and enemies rule, the captain has to leave the ship.
Before 12 years, knowing the great deluge that is going to happen, all Aushadas by this Guru Purnima, that Jnana Rasavadam, Navapashna is going to flower. Allow people to come and take dip in the Navapashna flower. People who ever come and dip in the Vijayas River, they will not have death. They will not have corona. Crores and crores of people will come in line every day. They will come and take a dip in the Anandalingam.
So Parashakti also reveals, listen well to my words. For India, I made ship as protection. The Nithyananda Navapashana Lingam in Vaityasarovar. Go to Adi Kailasa. O Indians, listen. All those regretting losing Nithyananda Nijavatara without confusion and without talking just as lip service, go to Adi Kailasa.
Scores of people will come there looking for help. The Navapashana water, feast, and medicine to get health and protection and enlightenment. To protect India from this great destruction, I, Parashakti, made this huge ship. Even if the captain is not there, the ship is there.
Yes, so when all the countries, first world countries, are closing their borders and schools during a massive global emergency, today, Kailasa has opened its doors to all of you without any exception.
And here are the different free COVID care centers across India, including Adi Kailash, Salem, Tirunamalai, Rajapalayam, Puduvai, Patnam, Tirupati, and many more that the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has opened up for everyone in India to take refuge and have the multi-layer quarantine.
So we could see the multiple free COVID care centers which are opened across India, various social services offered during pandemic in Kailasa's de facto spiritual embassies across India, the spiritual services offered during pandemic in Kailasa's de facto spiritual embassies across India, and cosmic revelations on the global pandemic.
And in each COVID care center, we are providing medical care, including allopathy, Ayurveda, and Siddha, and there's infrastructure to accommodate thousands. And the accommodation has multi-layer quarantine, and there are ambulances and ICUs on wheels provided for any emergency situation, as well as personal protective and medical equipment to protect yourself, and food security management through the food bank and organic farming.
Yes, so you can join any of these COVID care protection centers and protect your life and register through the link kailasa.org/Kailasa Care.
And Kailasa has been providing education services amidst the massive global emergency. The Department of Education of Kailasa is providing academic as well as spiritual educational services physically for all kids residing in Adi Kailasha Nikita, and virtually for a number of kids through the e-Gurukul program. With more than 1 billion kids not having access to education in the midst of this global pandemic, Kailasa has taken both the spiritual and academic responsibility to enrich and provide these services.
So you can join these COVID care protection centers and register through the link kailasa.org/Kailasa Care. So with that, we come to the conclusion of this segment of this program, and we'll take a short break before the next segment of the program begins.
Paramashivoham.
World should become e-Kailasians.
I want the whole world to know Hindus have something great to contribute to the world. We have something great to contribute to the world. Let us do that.
E-Kailasa is proper customized spiritual service helping you to identify your root patterns of suffering. We have perfected the science of helping every individual from every cultural, religious, nationality background. You will have lowest reactionary assumptions, highest awakened response, alive response for life continuously. E-Kailasa is enlightenment ecosystem, literally enlightenment itself in your own home, wherever you are. proper customized spiritual service helping you to complete with your life negativity, withdrawal from life, self-hatred, self-denial, self-doubt, so much of tiredness, laziness. We can support you aligning your diet, your attitude, your aptitude, your understanding about life. We can help you with everything.
Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham.
If you are interested in enlightenment, we will immediately bring this to you. If you are not interested, we will explain the whole science, inspire you and make you interested in enlightenment science. We need to cater this enlightenment science to the whole world wherever they are, because enlightenment is the birthright of all human beings. Kailasa is responsible to provide that to all human beings. Kailasa is the totality of the knowledge I received from my gurus and practice manifested in my life, perfected by teaching millions of people from all cultures, time zones, backgrounds, genders, nationality, race, from every creed. So this absolutely perfected knowledge available to you, served to you in your home without even you moving out of your couch, free of cost.
Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda.
What I mean by the word Kailasa, listen intensely. Enlightenment ecosystem, literally enlightenment itself, in your own home, wherever you are. If you cannot come to Kailasa, it's okay. Kailasa can come to you. Kailasa coming to you is Kailasa.
I will revive Hinduism. I am a Hindu revivalist, not by any revolution, but by evolution. And setting model community. Kailasa, enlightenment ecosystems, Sarvanya Peethas all over the world.
all powerful cognition, knowledge. Only when you live, power manifestation and possibilities manifestation happens. It's a fundamental truth.
Hinduism cannot live exclusively as one sampradaya. No. All sampradayas of Hinduism is an ecosystem. So don't keep quiet thinking that if one sampradaya is attacked, only that sampradaya is going to be affected. All of us are ecosystem.
I invite all of you to get involved and enjoy Hinduism by the principle of Dharmo Rakshati Rakshitaha. When you protect Dharma, Dharma protects you.
We will make the whole planet flourish spiritually. The spiritual prosperity will happen to the whole planet. We all have to coexist together.
We get you health. We get you ability to build beautiful relationships in your life. We get you direct spiritual support, and we make sure you become wealthy. We won't stop giving you just good life. We will literally not stop till you live enlightened life. Manifesting the state of Paramashiva, space of Paramashiva, powers of Paramashiva, being of Paramashiva. Whole world should become Kailasians.
I want the whole world.
Nithyananda Paramashivoham.
To contribute to the world. We have something great to contribute to the world. Let us do that.
Kailasa is proper customized spiritual service helping you to identify your root patterns of suffering. We have perfected the science of helping every individual from every cultural, religious, nationality background. You will have lowest reactionary assumptions, highest awakened response, alive response for life continuously. Kailasa is enlightenment ecosystem, literally enlightenment itself in your own home, wherever you are. Proper customized spiritual service helping you to complete with your life negativity. Withdrawal from life, self-hatred, self-denial, self-doubt, so much of tiredness, laziness. We can support you aligning your diet, your attitude, your aptitude, your understanding about life, we can help you with everything. If you are interested in enlightenment, we will immediately bring this to you. If you are not interested, we will explain the whole science, inspire you and make you interested in enlightenment science.
Paramashivoham.
Nithyanandam, welcome to all of the viewers who are joining us for this program, the Devi Parashakti Akashic reading program, and all of you who are joining across the world in different time zones and joining us for this beautiful time as we gather for Nithyananda Satsang and the Devi Parashakti Akashic reading. Every day at this time, we request the time listening from all of the viewers across the world, all the Kailasians and the Hindu diaspora who is listening in across the world, to listen to the story, untold story of the Hindu Holocaust, what the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has undergone for the last more than 2 decades, continuously being berated by incessant lawfare, brutal attacks to every single adinam, and over 70 assassination attempts to mob lynch him, attempts to arrest him illegally and put him under torture in order to force a false confession out of him for various baseless allegations, and attempts to character assassinate him, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, and ultimately destroy the last hope for Hinduism. We have literally been seeing over the last 2 decades how continuously the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is undergoing the most amount of persecution, more so than any leader who has done for the humanity, good for the humanity. And ultimately, why he is doing what he is doing, why he is sacrificing so much, is for the revival of Kailasa, the revival of the Hindu civilization. Now, yesterday, the previous segment that we were discussing and presenting to each and every one of you, the assassination attempts against the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, we saw how from 2010, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has been under attack constantly, and his very life being absolutely taken for granted, his being and him as even just, if you consider him as a human being, even just dehumanizing him. We've seen how the anti-Hindu element had done this in a very strategic way. And basically in 4 steps, they planned and they strategized to ensure that they execute their targeted killings. And the United Nations even understands and specializes in the topic of targeted killings and assassination attempts against leaders of religious minorities and leaders of communities who are under threat and who are endangered because of continuous oppression by terrorist movements. So in their strategy, they have 4 steps. One is mob violence, where the mobs or the staged henchmen of the anti-Hindu militant terrorists whom they literally pay to go and execute their violence, and who are enslaved to the anti-Hindu militant forces in some way or form. And along with the complicity of authorities in hand who are responsible for keeping peace and ensuring justice is seen and executed, the anti-Hindu militant forces stage a mob and execute mob violence in order to ensure that violence is used against a certain person, but nobody is held accountable. In the whole rush of the mob and the violence against a certain person, they won't be able to pinpoint one person who is against, or one person who is held accountable, who can be held accountable. And they do this in a strategic manner. First, by executing media demonization, where on the media, they use campaigns to smear the character of a leader of a marginalized community. And then they use this smear campaign that they try to project to the whole world in order to justify the subsequent mob violence that they stage, and then they ensure that that leader has to undergo and protect themselves and literally pray for their lives to survive through. And then after that, they ensure that there's no legal recourse for what they are doing and for what they have done against that religious minority leader. Finally, again, they do the media demonization after the whole incident is over, projecting as if the entire mob had hated this person, and out of their hate, they had killed or beaten or brutally assaulted this religious or this minority leader. This strategic steps, this 4-step plan is used by anti-Hindu militant forces in numerous instances. And I can give you many examples, but I'd like to give the example today of the Palghar murders that happened last year around this time. We are observing 1 year since, more than 1 year since the deaths of 2 revered Hindu sadhus at Palghar, where they were brutally handed over to the mob and killed without any sense of dignity and reverence for their deaths, and for the loss of especially 2 sannyasis and 2 sadhus who had been serving the whole world and who decided that they would serve the world. And we saw first how the media demonization happened well prior to prior to the mob violence executed against the sadhus, because continuously in the media, always the demonization of sadhus, sannyasis is continuously happening. And this is a strategy of the anti-Hindu owned media mafia of India. We've seen continuously how they are always having a underlying current of anti-Hindu abuse, anti-sadhu and anti-aguru and anti-sannyasi abuse, where they're literally abusing, characterizing and dehumanizing the sannyasis of Hinduism. And not just against the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, where we saw the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism having literally being attacked with more than 14,000 hours of defamation and hate speech content. And not only that, we saw how literally after that, so many Hindu sannyasis have undergone the same kind of demonization by the media mafia in India. So already in the scene, there is a common projected disrespect towards the sannyasis of Hinduism. And on this incident in last year in Palghar, we actually saw the video footage of how these two sadhus were literally handed over to the police, to the mob. Sorry, they were handed over by state authorities to the mob. And the authorities, very well knowing that there is a possibility for these two Hindus, sadhus, to lose their lives on this night, they literally were handed over to the mob. And there was absolutely horrifying footage of these sadhus desperately trying to protect themselves against a ferocious and terrifying, horrifying mob running in all directions, trying to seek protection. But at the end, what we saw was two covered bodies of the Hindu sadhus who had been beaten to death. After that, there was no legal recourse of what had happened, to hold the people who had done the violence accountable, because it was projected in the media as if an entire mob had hatefully killed two Hindu sadhus, and whom these sadhus they projected in the media as thieves and literally as if they were beggars. Now, in this whole way, they are ultimately showing how Hindu sannyasis they're projecting as if they're thieves and trying to make them less than who they are, decharacterizing them, assassinating their character, and trying to project after the whole incident, after their death, as if, oh, it was just the death of two thieves, and we have the right to kill them. The anti-Hindu media and the anti-Hindu militant forces were actually successful at quieting the entire Hindu population when we had not even taken the action against Hindu sannyasi, against the anti-Hindu militants who had literally killed two Hindu sannyasis. Now, just this 4-step strategic plan is exactly how the anti-Hindus have tried again and again to attempt to assassinate the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. 1, media demonization. 2, mob violence. 3, ensuring that there would be no legal recourse. And 4, again, demonizing them in the media to ensure the job was complete. The anti-Hindus have this extremely well thought out plan to ensure that the crimes that they do against Hindus is entirely silenced and projected in the media and made as if it is such a great thing that they're doing, getting rid of the vile people of society. But what the truth is that the most giving, dedicated, servicing people of the whole nation, the Hindu sannyasis, are being killed in the hands of the anti-Hindu militant forces. And this is how the anti-Hindus have literally targeted Hindu leaders in so many different circumstances. Today, we'll be continuing on the segment on the targeted killings and assassination attempts against the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, continuing on from 2010 until 2012, and we'll be understanding how after 2010, in 2012, we had continuously been going and seeing the most brutal violence against the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. So we will now be continuing on to the next years of assassination attempt against the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, presenting to each and every one of you about how they have continuously been targeting the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism and wanting to eliminate the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism entirely. We'll be right back with you after a few minutes, and please take a few minutes to share the link in the scroll below and share with as many people as possible the truth about the persecution of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. We'll be right back with you after a very quick break.
Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham.
Scatter this enlightenment signs to the whole world wherever they are. Because enlightenment is the birthright of all human beings. Kailasa is responsible to provide that to all human beings. Kailasa is the totality of the knowledge I received from my gurus and practice manifested in my life, perfected by teaching millions of people from all cultures, time zones, backgrounds, genders, nationality, race, from every creed. So this absolutely perfected knowledge available to you, served to you in your home without even you moving out of your couch, free of cost. What I mean by the word Kailasa, listen intensely. Enlightenment ecosystem, literally enlightenment itself, in your own home, wherever you are. If you cannot come to Kailasa, it's okay. Kailasa can come to you. Kailasa coming to you is Kailasa.
I will revive Hinduism. I am a Hindu revivalist, not by any revolution, but by evolution. And setting model community. Kailasas, enlightenment ecosystems, Sarvanya Peethas all over the world.
All powerful cognition, knowledge, only when you live, power manifestation and possibilities manifestation happens. It's a fundamental truth.
Hinduism cannot live exclusively as one sampradaya. No. All sampradayas of Hinduism is an ecosystem. So don't keep quiet thinking that if one sampradaya is attacked, only that sampradaya is going to be affected. All of us are ecosystem.
I invite all of you to get involved and enjoy Hinduism by the principle of Dharmo Rakshati Rakshitaha. When you protect Dharma, Dharma protects you.
We will make the whole planet flourish spiritually. The spiritual prosperity will happen to the whole planet. We all have to coexist together.
We get you health. We get you ability to build beautiful relationships in your life. We get you direct spiritual support, and we make sure you become wealthy. We won't stop giving you just good life. We will literally not stop till you live enlightened life. Manifesting the state of Paramashiva, space of Paramashiva, powers of Paramashiva, being of Paramashiva. Whole world should become Kailasians.
I want the whole world to know Hindus have something great to contribute to the world. We have something great to contribute to the world. Let us do that.
Om Nithyananda
Nithyanandam. Now, I'd like to welcome back to all the viewers after that very quick break. I'd like to begin with the attacks against the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism in 2012. And as each and every one of you know, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has literally revived Kailasa for each and every one of us. And this 1 hour segment every single day is the opportunity that I'd like to take personally to share with you what the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has undergone to make that revival happen. And ultimately, what he is declaring as anything that he would do to make sure that each and every one of us have this beautiful lifestyle, Kailasa on planet Earth once again. In 2012, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism we had seen 2 years since the attacks against the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism in 2010. We had seen so much of growth, and it was even as if we could put behind what happened in the attacks against us. In fact, in 2012, on April 29, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism was coronated as the Guru Mahasannidhanam, the 293rd Guru Mahasannidhanam of the Shamala Pita Sarvagna Peetam, the Kailashonata Shamala Pita Sarvagna Peetam, which is the Madurai Adinam, the oldest apex body of Hinduism. And having seen this, having celebrated the fact that the incarnation of Meenakshi, Devi Meenakshi, the one who had ruled over Madurai so many years back, was once again ruling, we saw how suddenly, despite so much of attack, success was happening in the world. And still, the revival of Kailasa was sure to happen and successfully happening. And of course, this is nothing but a Leela of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, where literally, despite so much of attack, just within 1 year, completely back and contributing to the world as if nothing had happened entirely. But immediately upon this happening, anti-Hindu militant forces quickly caught on to the amount of attack, to the amount of success that the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism was once again achieving in his mission to revive Kailasa. In this next segment, we will understand how in 2012, the anti-Hindu militant forces brought on 10 times more brutal attacks and tried to assassinate the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism multiple times throughout the whole year. I request all the viewers to once again stay tuned and take a few minutes now to share the link in the scroll below for about the persecution against the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. We'll be right back with you after a very quick break and continuing on in this segment.
Kailasa is proper customized spiritual service helping you to identify your root patterns of suffering. We have perfected the science of helping every individual from every cultural, religious, nationality background. You will have lowest reactionary assumptions, highest awakened response, alive response for life continuously. Kailasa is enlightenment ecosystem, literally enlightenment itself in your own home, wherever you are. Proper customized spiritual service helping you to complete with your life negativity. Withdrawal from life, self-hatred, self-denial, self-doubt, so much of tiredness, laziness, we can support you aligning your diet, your attitude, your aptitude, your understanding about life. We can help you with everything. If you are interested in enlightenment, we will immediately bring this to you. If you are not interested, we will explain the whole science, inspire you and make you interested in enlightenment science. We need to cater this enlightenment science to the whole world wherever they are, because Enlightenment is the birthright of all human beings. Kailasa is responsible to provide that to all human beings. Kailasa is the totality of the knowledge I received from my gurus and practice manifested in my life, perfected by teaching millions of people from all cultures, time zones, backgrounds, genders, nationality, race, from every creed. So this absolutely perfected knowledge available to you, served to you in your home without even you moving out of your couch, free of cost. What I mean by the word Kailasa, listen intensely. Enlightenment ecosystem, literally enlightenment itself, in your own home, wherever you are. If you cannot come to Kailasa, it's okay. Kailasa can come to you. Kailasa coming to you is Kailasa. I will revive Hinduism. I am a Hindu revivalist, not by any revolution, but by evolution. And setting model communities. Kailasas, enlightenment ecosystems, Sarvanya Pitas all over the world. All powerful cognition, knowledge, only when you live, power manifestation and possibilities manifestation happens. It's a fundamental truth. Hinduism cannot live exclusively as one sampradaya. No. All sampradayas of Hinduism is an ecosystem. So don't keep quiet thinking that if one sampradaya is attacked, only that sampradaya is going to be affected. All of us are ecosystems. I invite all of you to get involved and enjoy Hinduism by the principle of Dharmo Rakshati Rakshitaha. When you protect Dharma, Dharma protects you. You will make the whole planet flourish spiritually. The spiritual prosperity will happen to the whole planet. We all have to coexist together. We get you health, we get you ability to build beautiful relationships in your life. We get you direct spiritual support and we make sure you become wealthy. We won't stop giving you just good life. We will literally not stop till you live enlightened life. Manifest.
Nithyananda, and welcome back, dear viewers. The next assassination attempt and the targeted killing we are going to be seeing on the Supreme Court of Hinduism. So, what happened in the year 2014? The brutal assassination attempt on the Supreme Court of Hinduism under the garb of a very, very, very discriminating potency test. Now, just to give a little background of what actually led to the potency test of the Supreme Court of Hinduism, in the year 2010, the Supreme Court of Hinduism was, falsely accused of, some random allegations. And those random allegations, the police twisted it as rape, and they were trying to call for victims from all over. They gave advertisements in the media, in the television channels, but nobody obviously came forward because none of those allegations are true. Now, when the case was about to be quashed, the anti-Hindu elements, in their desperate attempt to continue their persecution on the Supreme Court of Hinduism, found a false rape victim who could come and give these baseless false allegations on rape allegations on the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. And when the Supreme Pontiff illegally arrested in 2014, the Supreme Pontiff very clearly told that he has a yogic physiology and they can do the medical test on his body to know that these allegations are not even possible, physically impossible, because of his yogic physiology of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. And the police did do the test. The medical tests were taken in 2010 itself. However, the police blatantly lied that in 2012 that no medical test was taken and the Supreme Court of Hinduism had to be subject to yet another medical test. And this time they were calling it as a potency test. And in 2014, the Apex Court of India, the Supreme Court, gave a judgment saying that the Supreme Pontiff has to subject himself to a medical test. Failing to do so, he would need to be arrested. So the Supreme Court of the Apex Court of India, the Supreme Court had given this order in 2014. And on the 8th of September 2014, this brutal medical test was scheduled. Now, early morning, the Supreme Pontiff actually left very early in the morning in a devotee's car. And much later, the Supreme Pontiff's car, which was the official car of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, left with a disciple sitting in the passenger seat, instead, closing himself and wrapping himself up as Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. Then what happened is, as the Supreme Pontiff's car was leaving the monastery, the media elements started to hound the car. They started jumping on the car. They were putting their cameras into the dashboard of the car, and they were surrounding the car from all sides and they tried their level best to actually stop the Supreme Pontiff from going to the medical test. And what happened was, when they actually grabbed the Supreme Pontiff out of the car and they beat him, only then they realized that it was a disciple of Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism and that the Supreme Pontiff had already reached the hospital for the so-called medical test. A brutal test which no human being, which no creature should ever go through, was attempted on the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism with the only intention to assassinate the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. Now, the police who were handling the case knew very clearly about the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism because they did actually do a test in 2010 itself. However, in 2014, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism was subject to this brutal test, which is called as a potency test, and the only intention of the test was to assassinate Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, and he was given multiple injections and forced to take multiple injections under the name of potency test. First, as the Supreme Pontiff was reaching the hospital, the media mafia tried to, you can see the amount of media here surrounding the ambulance of Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. The media mafia tried to stop the Supreme Pontiff's car and tried to attack Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. Here you can see the media chase started at around 7:30 a.m. from the Bengaluru Adinam as the Supreme Pontiff's car was leaving the Adinam. And here you can hear what really happened to the Supreme Pontiff's car just before the Supreme Pontiff was going to the medical test. Here you can see the car and the disciple sitting, wrapping himself up as the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism in the car. And as they were going to the hospital, the anti-Hindu elements literally attacked the car from all sides, somehow wanting to first of all stop, and second of all wanting to here you can see the media elements have literally surrounded the car on all sides and wanting to attack the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. And after the Supreme Pontiff reached the hospital as well, we can see the media literally hounding. When the Supreme Pontiff was in the hospital, continuously the media aired so much of hate speech and giving such nasty details of what is going on in the hospital. And we are going to be sharing more about the actual torture that was done to the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. Today, we want to focus on the assassination attempts. How many assassination attempts were attempted on the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism? First of all, starting from the monastery to reach to the hospital, the car of Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism was attacked, and the media mafia pulled the disciple who was sitting in the passenger seat, thinking it was Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. The media mafia pulled the disciple out and they literally beat him to death. And after they realized that it was not the Supreme Pontiff and it was his disciple, they became even more angry, and they were beating the vehicle. And then they rushed to the hospital. Now, at that time, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism was already in the hospital, and he was subject to such brutal tests, and horrific damage to his body was done. And they had injected him with cardiac arrest inducing injections. They had injected him with injections just to get the expected result of the medical test as such. And when the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism was actually being transferred from one hospital to the next, literally it was a car chase. If you had heard about how Princess Diana was chased by the media, and it actually led to the attack and the accident and leading to the death of Princess Diana herself, here you can literally see exactly the same way the media hounding the ambulance of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism literally from all corners. Literally from all corners, and they had only one intention. They somehow wanted to get to the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism and use this medical test as a reason to directly attack on the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism and make it look like an accident. Here you can see this cameraman who's actually jumping from one vehicle to the vehicle, to the ambulance. It's not even a vehicle, to the ambulance of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, purporting to take a visual or to take a video, but actually the intention is that these anti-Hindu elements somehow want to jump to the vehicle and get to the physical attack and assassination attempt of Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. Here you will see all rules broken. Only the ambulance has the right to travel on the opposite side of the road. However, every anti-Hindu element and media, they are completely violating the rule, and they are surrounding the ambulance from all sides. Even the police is not able to do anything. Actually, the police and the anti-Hindu elements go hand in hand. So the police, even the police vehicle, which is supposed to give protection to the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, is a few vehicles away from the actual ambulance itself. And here you can see this person who is the anti-Hindu media mafia, trying to somehow, this is in the middle of the road while the vehicle is going, somehow they wanted to bring the ambulance to, attack the ambulance, get to the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. Somehow, before the Supreme Pontiff gets to the Adinam, here you can see how this person is actually literally out of his car, and all these things we have seen in movies, but here you are seeing it live happening to the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, a continuous attack being done. Here you can see one of the motor vehicles actually fell down and they were hit by the ambulance. And here one car is in the front, purposely blocking the ambulance. Actually, the ambulance has the right of the way. All cars, all vehicles have to go to the side, but that is the vehicle of the anti-Hindu element wanting to attack the Supreme Pontiff. Supreme Pontiff is inside the ambulance and his body has been utterly damaged by what happened on that day. And the media mafia now has surrounded the ambulance from all sides. There is no way for the ambulance to go in the way it wants. It is being now literally, it is a car kidnapping. The media mafia is surrounded on all sides. They somehow want to only attack the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. Here you can see how the ambulance of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is being chased and closed from all sides. And now the hunt continues. The 40-kilometer stretch from Manivala back to Bidadi, the anti-Hindu elements did not want to give up. They did not want to miss any one chance. They didn't want to miss even one chance of leaving this opportunity to assassinate the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. Literally, you can see it was a mad chase. It was literally like a car surrounding the car from the Supreme Pontiff's ambulance from all sides. Somehow the media mafias are trying to get to the car. Under the pretext of airing it live, or under the pretext of taking the video footage, the whole intention is to get to Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, and they did not stop till the gate, the very monastery gates of the Supreme Pontiff. And finally at the gate, when the car actually reached the gate, they staged yet another assassination attempt. The car in which the Supreme Pontiff traveled for the medical test was completely damaged. It was punctured and damaged, and it was broken, and you can actually see the bumpers dented and the glass broken. And that was the very same car the Supreme Pontiff traveled in the morning, and he could not travel back in that same car because the car was completely damaged. And here you can see the ashram diver is now being beaten and is pulled out of the vehicle and is completely beaten by the anti-Hindu elements. And even at the gates of the monastery, the anti-Hindu elements didn't want to rest or relent, and they are continuously attacking. And it was an extremely traumatic experience, and the anti-Hindu elements somehow want to get to the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, and they created yet another extreme situation and scene at the gate. As the Supreme Pontiff, the car somehow managed to get Supreme Pontiff back into the Adinam. The attack continued. And even at the gate, here you can see the anti-Hindu militant mafia is trying to create a violence at the gate, and the police are just standing and watching. And it was extremely barbaric attack. And the whole day, the TV channels were airing such pornographic material, so much of hate speech and character assassination on featuring Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism and the so-called discriminatory potency test against the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. Here you can see the car in which the Supreme Pontiff traveled in the morning is completely broken by the anti-Hindu elements. The windows were broken, the bumpers were broken, and now at the gate, the anti-Hindu elements now are staging a violent attack. Here you can see the CCTV footage of how the violence is being erupted out right outside the monastic gates. Here you can see this is the very car that the Supreme Pontiff traveled in the morning. The car got completely damaged. Here you can see stones being thrown out, and you can see what on the right side, you can see something like a bullet shot on the vehicle, which has torn open the glass, which has pierced the back glass of the vehicle. And this is the very same car the Supreme Pontiff traveled in the morning. And the very same car was completely punctured. The dashboard was completely broken. In the backside, the glass was completely broken. The bumper is dented, and they had targeted to get to the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. Just as Supreme Pontiff was completely abiding by the legalities and by the procedures, but the anti-Hindu media mafia joining hands with the state elements and the police and the neo-Hindutva militants, somehow wanting to assassinate Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. And this is one of the 70 plus assassination attempts that have happened on the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. Today, as a part of the Hindu Persecution Awareness Month, we are sharing with you about how the targeted killings and assassination attempts are being staged against Hindu gurus, Hindu organizations, and especially somebody who has given and sacrificed his life for Hinduism, which is the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. And we will be in the upcoming segments of this program and in the upcoming segments of this show in this month, we will be continuing to share with you the more attacks, persecution, lawfare, hate speech that is currently being spread, and that the persecution happening against the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. And we invite each and every one of you to share the report published by the United Nations recognizing the persecution of Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism and Kailasa. Please share that with the hashtag UN recognizes persecution of HDH Nithyananda and Kailasa. That we come to the conclusion of this segment, and in the next segment, upcoming next is the Kailash Courtyard Power Manifestation session. So let's get ready to go ahead and manifest the powers. Now, the ending now with the Purna Mantra. पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरि ओम् तत्सत् सर्वं भगवत् श्री नित्यानन्द परमशिव पादुकार्पणमस्तु ॐ नित्यानन्दम्
Paramashiva, powers of Paramashiva, being of Paramashiva. Whole world should become Kailasians.
I want the whole world to know Hindus have something great to contribute to the world. We have something great to contribute to the world. Let us do that.
Kailasa is proper customized spiritual service helping you to identify your root patterns of suffering. We have perfected the science of helping every individual from every cultural, religious, nationality background. You will have lowest reactionary assumptions, highest awakened response, alive response for life continuously. Kailasa is enlightenment ecosystem, literally enlightenment itself in your own home, wherever you are. Proper customized spiritual service helping you to complete with your life negativity, withdrawal from life, self-hatred, self-denial, self-doubt, so much of tiredness, laziness. We can support you aligning your diet, your attitude, your aptitude, your understanding about life. We can help you with everything. If you are interested in enlightenment, we will immediately bring this to you. If you are not interested, we will explain the whole science, inspire you and make you interested in enlightenment science. We need to cater this enlightenment science to the whole world wherever they are, because enlightenment is the birthright of all human beings. Kailasa is responsible to provide that to all human beings. Kailasa is the totality of the knowledge I received from my gurus and practice manifested in my life, perfected by teaching millions of people from all cultures, time zones, backgrounds, genders, nationality, race, from every creed.
Use this medical test as a
of Hinduism, Jagadguru Mahasanidanam, His Divine Holiness, Bhagwan Nithyananda Paramashivam. Let's start with the Sadguru Vandanam. Nithyanandam Paramasukhanam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dvandvatītam Gaganasudasham Tattamasyadi Lakshyam Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvadi Sakshibhutam Bhavatītam Trigunarahitam Sadgurum Tam Namami. Let's go through the disclaimers. Security measures. No photography, video, audio recording. Important cautions. Please be aware of the important cautions. What is spa manifestation? Let's hear from Bhagwan himself explaining what is spa manifestation.
All the 25 states of consciousness, when they happen in you, due to your chemicals and hormones ups and downs, it is powerlessness. When it happens in you, out of your free will and consciousness, it is powerfulness. That's all. When you fall into sleep, it is powerlessness. When you enter into sleep, it is powerfulness. When you fall into dream, it is powerlessness. When you decide to dream, it is powerfulness. So I've added the ultimate powerfulness, Turiyatita, in your whole being and doing, manifest all the powers. Understand, power manifestation is nothing but cognitive shift. It is not work.
Beautifully, Bhagavan explained what is power manifestation. Power manifestation is a cognitive shift from our space of body and mind to superconscious breakthrough, the consciousness, conscious sovereignty that Bhagavan has beautifully blessed us. That is the shift that we experience by doing power manifestation. Again and again, we get a glimpse of that shift. And this is a science. We can experience the superconscious breakthrough in all of us. And it is a science that's proven by all these evidences. That is why it's a science of power manifestation, which is authentic, time-tested, scientific, and foolproof. The Shastra Pramana, the evidences from the scriptures, the eternal, unchangeable truth revealed in the source scriptures, the Vedas and the Agamas. Apta Pramana, the experience and the results of the Aptas, the Rishis, Munis, Ganas, Nayanama, Alvars, and millions of them who are authority of Hinduism, manifesting all the powers of Paramashiva. Atma Pramana, account of His Divine Holiness, Bhagwan Nithyananda Paramashivam, this millennium's avatars, personal experience of power manifestation, Bhagwan's very own Leelas. Bhagwan Leelas mapping to the Shastra and the Apta Pramana. Shakshi Pramana, experience of the millions of disciples, devotees, followers all alone the world who have manifested all the powers of Paramashiva as per the Shastra and Apta. And Bhagwan has beautifully said, whoever comes to the Kailash courtyard, I myself initiate and bless them to manifest all the powers of Paramashiva. Bhagwan's presence can be really experienced as reality in the Kailash courtyard. Pratyaksha Pramana, the scientific study measuring the effect of being in the enlightened state. Again and again, Bhagavan beautifully gives us the scientific study to understand that it is also a science where we can experience the thoughtless space, even if